Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. If there's anything any operating system needs, it's more cowbell. That's right. Actually, it needs, in my opinion, more desktop effects. And I've seen software on Windows, I've seen some software on OS X, but in my opinion, it all pales by comparison to Barrel. And what I've got here on my system is an installation of Linux. It's a live CD distribution known as Sabayon, and I just discovered this from a member in the chat room at live.pirillo.com the other day, and he or she suggested it because this particular live CD distribution has all the drivers you need to just jump right in and get 3D effects on the desktop without really configuring anything. So for the past half hour, people have been watching me play with this. Now, when I say live CD, what that means is that you can download Linux, burn it to a CD, put it into a CD drive, reboot your machine, and you will be booting up into Linux without it ever having to be installed to your hard drive. That's right. So I've got Linux running on this computer, but it's not touching the hard drive. It's not loading from the hard drive. It's loading from the CD into memory, and now I'm in Linux on the same machine you normally see me running in Windows Vista, which is my default operating system, at least for this particular machine. So that's a great way for you guys to get started with Linux, is to download a live CD distribution, and most distributions have a live CD version. Again, Sabayon Linux comes with all the latest drivers and all the latest software for you to experience a different kind of way of using your computer. So I've just started playing with it, again, just messing around, haven't really dug in too deep, but I can tell you the options are aplenty. So when I move my window around, now I know that the frame rate on this particular the video stream is not going to be amazing, but hopefully you'll see that I have it's very fluid as I move the window around. It's known as a wobble, or wobbly windows. And I can drag it from this desktop to the other desktop merely by moving it to the other side. So now I'm on the second desktop, and if I want, I can drop the window, and it has almost like, you know when you drop, in OS X, in the dashboard, when you drop a new widget on there, it makes this kind of a splash watery effect. It's much the same way here in Linux. Now, they call the Sabayon Linux the when art meets inspiration happens to be its byline. It's still a little rough around the edges, but I can tell you, it does work fluidly. If I tap the F9 button, it'll bring the current windows into view. If I tap F8, it'll drag all my windows to the current desktop from all the various desktops. Yeah, I've got 4 desktops running right now. And to view all 4 desktops, I've got it set up so all I need to do is click an edge with the mouse button, in theory. Then it will fade out the desktops and allow me to rotate in a cube-like fashion all the windows that I happen to have open. So on this desktop, it looks like I've got the Conqueror web browser, or file browser, depending on how you're using it, and a couple of other dialogues. And they're actually layered in. So I can tell that I've got multiple windows open at various thicknesses, and here I can even see through, like I'm looking from behind my desktop over here where I just was with the another web browser, or I can go back here. I can flip to anything, bring that to center. It's got different effects if I right-click and or if I hover over to get a tooltip. There are various effects that pop up. Some are 3D, some are just plain old 2D, but I can tell you this, they're all beautiful. I discovered that I can, over any kind of dialogue, if I move from one to the other, like if I maximize the window, the wobble will work, and it's difficult, again, to display on the video unless you've really seen what Barrel can do, and there are plenty of Barrel videos available on YouTube, for instance. That's where I've linked to before. It comes with the desktop search tool, Beagle, or in this one, Carry Beagle Search. You can use your Windows button here within Linux, and it pops open what I guess it's a traditional search menu. This is a new version of KDE, a newer, I should say. And if I go in, I'll give you the exact version in a second. I had it open here. Let's see here. I think it was like about KDE 3.5.7. There we go. This is a pre-release version of Sabayon Linux, so I'm sure that there are some issues still apparent But if you want to give give Linux a shot, my recommendation would be specifically to download something and try to use something that has a lot of eye candy, because that's going to draw you to an operating system more than anything else, draw you in and really open up the power of the hardware inside your system. Now, as far as software is concerned, this particular distribution comes with Google Earth, comes with Picasa, which of course I've raved about on Windows, and to tell you the truth, it looks like a almost perfect port of Picasa from Windows to Linux. I happen to have NVIDIA cards in here, and the drivers seem to be working fairly well. It comes with a handful of games that I haven't even begun to get into. Office, it's got looks like a groupware suite, so if you connect to any kind of work group, it looks like that would be Evolution. Yep. Comes with OpenOffice, so you've got all your applications right there. It's KDE, as I said before, but I believe it's also got GNOME on this installation as well. I had to launch the Barrel Manager to get in to know what effects were here, and it comes with tons of them. I can flip back and forth between the desktops. Instead of using my mouse, I could just flip back and forth between all of them. This is I can't tell you how smooth this is, switching between desktops, getting all the video effects, and seeing how I can really manage Windows. And I don't mean Windows as in Microsoft Windows, I mean Windows as in Windows on my desktop. These different programs, these different utilities. It's very smooth, it's very slick. I am really, really impressed with Sabayon. This is going to be one to watch. Hopefully they'll be able to clean it up over time and give you, even a more seamless experience for new users, and then still satisfy the power users as well. There's still a few things, as I said, that are rough around the edges, but Ubuntu, I realize, has got a lot going for it right now in the community. But I think Sabayon, it looks like more of a distribution I would hand to a power user to get them interested in what Linux is and what it can do. As long as you can do all the normal things that you do in an operating system, you should be happy with just about any operating system. One thing that impressed me, it's a small thing, but it started playing music as I was booting up. Not just a startup sound, but music. Of really powerful music, actually. Like, I'm using the computer, and I had the opportunity to turn that on or off. Now, when I'm done, I merely eject the disk from the drive, reboot the machine, and then I'll be booting right back into Windows Vista. I'll be giving this more of a shot as time goes on. It's certainly a nice way of trying something different and trying something new. I've argued that Barrel needs to be ported to Windows, and if not Windows, then of course OS X, because it's nice. It's what a geek would want as far as a desktop window manager is concerned. DWM, take that, Microsoft. Anyway, so have you guys tried Barrel before? Any special tips, tricks? Do you guys have any? Toid.org, if that's supposed to be the Windows version of it. I've tried every type of Windows emulator, so to speak, for something that tries to be Barrel, and it doesn't even come close. Windows software tends to be like the white trash cousin of Linux now, as far as all these effects are concerned. But anyway, if you have any other distributions of Linux that you'd recommend that come built in with eye candy that you could pop into a live CD, by all means, we're taking recommendations. We talk about Linux all the time in the chat room. It's really a kind of a daily topic. Mandriva. I have tried Mandriva, and I could get the same type of 3D effects on a low-end Intel video card. I was going to try this on my laptop, but unfortunately my laptop isn't 64-bit, and this is a 64-bit distribution of Linux. Slackware, oh my god, let's not freak people out here. Anyway, we'd love to hear from you. We're always live 24 hours a day at live.pirillo.com.